Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Going to ask a question, and I want you to think in your mind, even answer in your mind, and be honest with yourself. Are you feeling like you're just stuck? You're not moving forward. Maybe you feel that there's more out there for you, but it hasn't shown up. But you feel that, yeah, I deserve more, but I don't know why it's not here. Are you feeling some anxiety, maybe some depression? Real good chance that you have something to heal from. And when we say that, a lot of people say, I have nothing to heal from. You probably have a trauma. And I know that's a strong word. A lot of people say, oh, no, I haven't really suffered any traumas, like a car accident or something big like that. But it can also be something very small you experience way back in life that is holding you back in your adult life. We're going to talk about that inner healing with somebody who's an amazing spiritual life coach and shadow guide, and put the light on a lot of this that's holding all of us back. He's John Van Winkle. He joins us on the program. Hey, John, how you doing? I'm
doing great today, Steve. Thank you. How are you?
Very well. Since
good,
I figured this stuff out. It's been a journey, but once you realize what's going on and how it connects to typically childhood, and I would love you to address that and validate it or punch a hole in what I'm saying. That's my understanding, but when we say we have to heal, what do we have to heal from?
Basically, heal from everything that we've been taught growing up. How we have to go work for the man, how we have to basically be people pleasers. What they didn't teach us is we have to be true to ourselves, that our happiness is very important to each individual. And that's what we need. If you're not happy within yourself, nothing around you is going to be happy. That's where everything needs to start changing first, is be happy with yourself. Start loving yourself unconditionally.
Well, such a cliche, but so true, in that you have to love yourself before you can love others and love life. And many of us feel guilty even saying that. Yeah, I love myself because of society, TV, movies, that we have this image of, look at that. They're full of themselves. They love themselves. No, that's not what we're talking about, right?
Exactly. And that's part of it right there. It's the whole programming. That's how we've been taught. And it's not easy.
Now, when we say taught, we're not throwing parents under the bus or anything like that. Isn't it more of what we internalized from our childhood experiences? Because you could have two kids and they deal with the same exact situation. Maybe it's bullying on the playground. I dealt with that. I was a fat kid. They never picked me for dodgeball. You see it in movies all the time, but it was true. You have these two kids and that same situation. One of them rolls right off their shoulder. Well, I don't care. Don't pick me. I'll just do something else. I'll just walk around, whatever. The other one, it impacts them. They take it deep inside. It hurts. And then later in life, they become the people pleaser, the person that feels like they're just not good enough. They start making choices in life that don't support them because of even that situation. It could be a one-off situation on the playground could dictate the rest of your life. Am I getting that right?
Oh, that's spot on. It's 100% correct.
It's crazy.
It is. It's those traumas as childhood. Some of it doesn't happen for others till later. I mean, some of it is awesome that it doesn't happen to anybody. But this thing called life, the game that we're in, a lot of us, it has happened since playground bullying.
There's a phrase on your website called "as above, so below." As above, so below. What does that mean?
So many different variations on so many different days or even things that are happening. Like as above, so below. What am I feeling now? Am I feeling happy? Am I feeling sad? what's going on in the world, basically, also. There's a lot of things political, there's a lot of things, lifestyle changes. Everybody's feeling the wave of all this stuff. It's hard to say if, what's right, what's wrong. And that's where everybody's having to internalize and go within themselves. This is where they first start being happy with themselves. They start being happy with themselves. They'll start changing themselves. Things around them will start, as you were saying, the universe and everything aligns you. That is internal happiness. And also, if you want the whole as above, so below, basically your higher self wants you to be happy. And they're seeing you struggle, stuff like that. They're throwing hints there, and they're not seeing you happy. They're not happy. They still love you very much. But as soon as you start gaining your own little traction, your own little, hey, today I'm going to do my hair just a little bit different. I'm going to find a style that fits me. I'm going to find something that I love, something that it's just me. Doesn't have to be anybody else. That little glimmer right there of hope, of pure love for yourself. Looking yourself in the mirror, telling yourself you love yourself. There's a lot of people that can't do that. But that is as above, so below. You are smiling, you're happy, your higher self is smiling and happy. And that's just a broad spectrum, but it's so much deeper. And a lot of it, like if you do a counseling session with me, we'll tap into those energies, and I'll start to elaborate more on how the universe / spiritual / energy, how it's all connected and how it all is geared towards help healing yourself, your traumas, or even your fears.
John, when you work with somebody, do you have aha moments where they kind of connect the dots? Oh, that's why I do what I do. I didn't even realize that.
Yes. They're amazing.
I've had them, so that's why I asked.
Yeah, I have them all the time too.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing.
It's a process. I know it's a cliche, but it's true. Trust the process, because you start seeing things differently as you do this work. Tell me about, before we even go there, when we talk about your higher self, and I've heard that term many times. I have my vision of what it is, maybe what it is for me. How do you define it?
All right. This isn't for everybody. This is just for the people it resonates with. And that took me a long time to understand that, but I'm okay with it. Everybody in this world, on this earth, has spirit guides. Basically, whether you want to call it from heaven, from a different dimension, or even think of it as a video game. We're avatars. They're finding ways to communicate with you. And a lot of the spiritual people are their third eye, the pineal gland. That is how they communicate with us. We see things. Our two eyeballs are for looking. Our third eye is for seeing. That is how we start hearing voices. There's so much of this that can get misconstrued into, well, that's medical. Well, that's this. That's this. It's basically all your own personal journey. And like you were saying before, it can get very messy. Very, very messy. There's nothing perfect about it. Even trying to figure out my website and get it, like how I want it perfect. It's not that way. Like you were saying, it is a journey for each individual. Even though it's messy, it's still beautiful.
I know a lot of people can hear this, see this, and think, wow, those two guys, man, they're kind of woo-woo.
Right.
I get it. But once you start using your intuition, help from your spirit guides, I'm doing it more and more, and I'm starting to listen. And it's not I'm not manifesting something to happen in that way. I'm just listening. How's this? I got a meeting coming up. I have a feeling how it's going to go. Visualized it, thought about it, use my intuition on what it's going to be like, how I should react and all of that. When I do, it turns out to be just what I expected it to be. And I feel like I was prepared for it. It's like, all right. Or I should have listened because I might have pivoted in a different way for a hypothetical meeting that, I might have been better aware of what might transpire listening to within. Spirit guides. Let's go there. I've recently even and I do like, call it meditation before I go to bed. I don't know why. It's just a relaxing time for me. I like to think, get quiet. I've asked my spirit guides to reveal themselves, and I've done it a few times. Once I fell asleep, so maybe they did and I didn't get it. Haven't received a connection yet. I wonder if I'm doing the right thing. And then also I understand that if you want help, you need to ask for help and be specific. They're not just going to show up, magic force field on you. You're all good now. You need to ask.
Right.
What are your thoughts on all of that?
How I first learned about communicating with my spirit guides is keep it very, very simple. And it's weird, but it's awesome. I was in Rapid City and went up to Deadwood, and I was like, okay. I've started listening to a couple books. I cannot remember the authors, but it was just asked a very simple question and be like, okay, if I'm supposed to go into this casino and gamble, show me a guy walking down the street in a baseball hat. So I sat back, I'm enjoying my drink, and all of a sudden this guy in a baseball hat walks by. I'm like, okay, cool. So I went in and gambled, didn't win anything. I'm like, I wonder, be more specific. So went back out and just sitting there and enjoying the scenery. And I'm like, okay, if I take this $20, can I take it into a slot machine and will I win? If it's yes, show me a red motorcycle. If it's a no, show me a black motorcycle. So I'm sitting there, and just a little bit later, a red motorcycle comes. I'm like, all right, sweet. So I went in, put that $20 in the slot. I won $2. I lost 18, but I won $2. The spirit guides, they do have a sense of humor. They're like us. They want us to have fun. This is a training ground for us to manipulate energies, and we are here to have fun. A lot of people, including myself, have to stop, and every day I'm like, okay, am I not having fun? Am I not enjoying where I'm at? Am I not making these decisions? And a lot of that comes into on what really started me in my true awakening is I was lying to myself. I thought I was happy in the job I was in. I was not. I thought I was happy with my living circumstances. I was not. And it's those crucial, small little moments when you're like, okay, I have to stop lying to myself. I have got to get a grip on my own reality and start moving forward from there. And I really started communicating with with my angels or spirit guides or whatever through small questions, just as that. You have to be very specific. Like I said, they have an awesome sense of humor. It should be very specific and just pay attention. If you ask for something and say, hey, show me a red unicorn, if it's going to be true, they will show you a red unicorn where it's true. You just have to know where to look. You have to be open-minded.
Yeah, and quiet the noise. Life is so busy. There's so many distractions. You miss it. What we're talking about here is all energy.
Yes.
And I do this all the time. I manifest a parking space. And I get them. I'm going to say 95% of the time, it's a great space. And the times I don't get a space. Last weekend I went out to meet some friends to see a cover band, and I was on the phone talking to somebody, and I'm driving in, busy, crowded town, Saturday night, and I was focused on the conversation and not thinking to manifest. I ain't in a space. It was like I had to walk, all good. And then every other time when I do, even this morning, went to the gym. I'm driving there. I was like, oh, yeah, I want to get a space. Looks like it's about to rain. I want to get a space that's close, safe for my car. I don't want to get a door ding or anything like that. And I'll always say, if somebody needs it more than me, please give it to them. Pull into the parking lot. Gym's crowded. Like there's usually no spaces. And I can go this way, I can go that way. And there's spaces in both areas. Or there should be, but it's, of course, lots of cars. And I just sat for a second. I'm like, go to the left. Go to the left. Pull in there. I'm like, I wonder if it's going to work today. This morning. Sure enough, somebody 4 spaces in from the door starts pulling out. Like, thank you very much. I will just pull in there. One of many times I've done it, but it seems like we're manipulating energy. We're asking for an outcome and receiving an outcome. What was your aha moment with all of this work where you decided that I'm going to help others because this changed my life? That changed my life moment. Do you remember it?
Yes, I do. Was in Cheyenne with my sister, and we were having basically the same kind of talk that you and I are having, and our cousin. We met her for lunch, and I was like, all right. I was like, I'm going to ask you, do you play with runes or do any tarot cards or crystals? And her face lit up, and I'm like, yes, you were doing this also. And it just basically took off from there. We started talking about how we started healing ourselves. We started talking about all of these, like divinity tools like tarot, runes. A lot of people, it encompasses so much. I mean, my mind's just like going in different 1,000 directions right now because I'm excited, and it's awesome to see. Basically, really, yeah, I can't even talk right now. Here comes a sip of coffee. Like runes or tarot readings or any other kind of reading like that. Basically, they're using the energies that comes into them off of you, and it's a guide to help you out. A lot of people, like you were saying, don't know how to talk to their higher self or their guardian angels or their spirit guides. And this is a tool to help with that.
I bought myself cards recently, a couple of months ago, and I'm kind of experimenting, kind of feeling it all out there. Oracle cards, but they call them angel cards. Kyle Gray is the designer of them. He does apparently a lot of work. Okay. Yeah, for another day we can get 2 cards and how it all works, but it is kind of fascinating. I've gotten some insight from them, and like anybody else, I'm skeptical. Yeah, let's see how this reveals. Same thing with manifesting, the example of the parking space. I'm just doing it to test. Yeah, if I have to walk, I'll walk. It's okay. But I like testing it out. It's kind of fascinating how it works, and same thing with connecting with your inner self to find out why you've been doing certain things, like people pleasing. Many of us are doing that. That goes back to feeling not worthy enough, feeling like you're not enough, and all of that. So what do? You try to please people, go above and beyond. You want to make sure they're there for you and that they like you and that there's value in you. Meanwhile, it's probably going against every fiber in your body. They want me to help them move on Saturday. I have 15 different things I have to do for myself and my family. I really don't want to. I know they need help, but there's other people. And today I really can't. I'll be there at 4 p.m. when you need me. And now you feel best description out of sorts. Something's not right. You're just doing it, but it doesn't feel right. And it should feel right all the time. It should align with who you are, right?
Yes, it should. And that intuition, your inner voice. I've had a lot of people, John, I've listened to my inner voice and I just don't trust myself because this happened. Got into a huge, relationship and it was so toxic and demeaning. I'm like, okay, I understand that. think of it from a different point of view, a different aspect. Your higher self knows you better than you do. You had to be placed in this situation so this would all happen. That way you can go back and say, hey, I had that aha moment, or I had that little soft whisper in the back, like, don't do this. Like you were saying, you feel all out of sorts. And it takes that much more for some people to get the lesson or the message.
So I'm gonna detect from that and want your feedback that everything that happens for a reason. There's another cliche, but there, like you just said, it was to, that situation. Maybe you're in, a certain relationship. It was there, maybe to teach you a lesson, to show you something.
Yes.
Open your eyes.
Yes.
Sometimes it's hard to swallow.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
And it's the way I explain it to people. Sometimes just planting a seed is all it takes. Even if they have doubts, even if that, and they walk away and they're like, I wonder. And they'll start, maybe looking into it or researching it or something like that. I've gotten many a phone call back being like, you were right. Be like, I'm not trying to be right. I'm just trying to show you, just trying to guide you in directions that are going to help you out.
I heard something in the beginning of my journey in this area, and it rings true to the day. All I need is within me now. All I need is within me now. You need an answer? You already know what it is. You're sitting there wrestling with choice A or choice B. I'm not really sure. I don't want to mess it up. You know the answer. You do. It's in you.
Yes.
The challenge is working with somebody like you so you can peel back some layers and be able to hear the answer and then trust that that is the right answer. And that's where we go wrong. How do I know this works? Because I went against the right answer. I can go back 25 years, more than that, 27 years. And I remember where I was, this is a bad idea, but all right, I'm going to go with it. I'm too far invested in this very moment. I knew it was a bad idea. And, it turned out to be not the most favorable. But then again, maybe I shouldn't say bad idea. It was a learning experience.
Exactly. The other thing that I kind of enjoy, because it's happened to me so many times, like going to different mediums, like talking to my sister, my cousins, family members and stuff. And they'll lay some cards out. Me, I'm not really good at reading tarot cards. I like the runes and stuff better. It's just easier for me to read the energies. And they're like, okay, I know what's going to happen, but I can't tell you exactly what's going to happen. But what I can do is tell you to start looking into this, or start watching out for a feather on the ground, and that's your sign that, this is working and stuff like that. And you're like, oh, whatever. Walk around the street a couple of times and you look down, you're like, holy cow, there's a feather. You're like, okay, all right. It's another aha moment.
Yeah. Even with those cards, you can't necessarily predict the outcome or the future, but you can give somebody the insight so they can see it, i.e. the feather. Maybe the feather, hypothetical here, you look down on the ground, the feather is there, you pick it up, and it might reveal something. As they're looking at it, they might see something across the street. It could be the words on a building that say victory, and they're wondering, if they made the right decision. And there it is. You just got to be open to it, not look for it. I'm not saying like, you're just looking for the answer. No, just internalize it and take it for what it is. And we're just scraping the surface today. There's so much more. I mean, I would love to.
Oh, it's so deep.
Oh, man, if we had a chance, I'd love to have you show us a guided meditation. I'm still working on that. How do we connect with you? How do we find you? How do we start the process to even the conversation to start making some change?
I've got my website up and going, johnvanwinkle.com. Basically, just leave your contact information. I've got what would you say, like a button you can click and just leave your information in. Either call you back or email you back. That's the easiest way to do it. I've got Facebook, TikTok. I have a YouTube channel, and like a guided meditation. I do have a very simple video on there that will walk you through a guided meditation. Just super simple, easy to do. And I have been listening to some of your podcasts, and you guys were talking about meditations, about the length and everything. And what you guys said was awesome. It doesn't matter if you can clear your brain for 5 seconds or 5 minutes. It's a start. Mm-hmm. It's messy, but it is a start. If you can do it for even 3 seconds, it's a start.
And meditation isn't necessarily what you think, where, somebody's with legs crossed on the floor and go, no, wait, go walk your dog. You're meditating.
Exactly.
If you're intentionally
walking meditation.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
John, fabulous talking with you. Validated a lot of things for me. And one word just comes to mind: trust. Trust in a better life for yourself. And trust, I don't like cliches, but they ring true. Trust the process.
Exactly.
It's a process to heal. Thank you so much for being here today.
And thank you for having me in this messy world.
Yep. Well, there's a lot of good there too. And
yes, sir.
Your job is to help us see it. JohnVanWinkle.com. We'll be right back. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Let's go inside the mind of a 10-year-old.
I should have worn those earrings today. I like those earrings. Gabby has those awesome earrings. I need to ask her where she got those, but that's just what she would want me to do. I'll have Michaela ask her for me.
Buckle up, Sarah.
Yeah, but then Michaela will be like, why don't you just ask her yourself? That's just like Michaela.
Sarah, buckle up.
Michaela's such a great name. I wish I was called Michaela. There's like a dozen Sarahs in my class.
Hey, we're not hitting the road until you buckle up, honey.
Oh yeah, seatbelt. I forget sometimes because my brain is busy, I wonder if there's pizza at school today.
Sometimes it can be tough to get through to your kids, but it's not impossible. Always make sure they're wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Remember, you have the keys, you have the power. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.